Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Well. What do we got here? I don't know. We see oil down. We see the dollar index down. Let's see what it's doing. And there's a little ruble today. A little calm down. It made another new high on Friday at almost 27. Obviously, we're looking for that 31 to 33 area at this point with the Turkish lira, which we refer to as the little ruble. It's moving in the same direction and action like the way the ruble did when it went from 4 to 5 to 12. I think it was 9, then to 12 to 14, and then it got up into the 20s. And the next thing you know, it's in the 30s and the 40s, and now it's in the 70s or 80s or something like that. So, I mean, unfortunately, this particular currency, that's why it was on the screen there. We'll get back to that. Let's get back over to the, where's it at? Right there. Let's get over to the dollar index and see what they're doing to the dollar index this morning. And we have our own view of the brick. It should be called the M brick. That would be the Mexican peso and the rest of the bricks. Or brickum. There's something like that. Got to get that M in there since it's the pillar of the bricks. And you can see there, dollar is down a little bit. It's the third day in a sell. That is the dollar, right? Yeah, that's the dollar index. You can see the weeklies are pressing down. We have, let me use that mouse over here. That's where that is. So let me get rid of that too. You can see the green line is breaking the manifold, and you can see the fast-moving algorithm is breaking the zero line this week already. So that's interesting. You're putting some pressure onto it. Interest rates kind of tried to lift a little bit last week. There's a little confusion there because there's talk of to raise or not to raise. It sounds like Shakespearean. We're in that. Hey, Robin, it's like a Shakespearean thing. We're not sure what's going to happen. To rise or not to rise. It's a old York, looking at the skull or, something like that. To be or not to be. So it's really hard to say at this point. I'm assuming that they won't raise because the markets are trying to tell us that they're not going to raise. But the bonds did adjust themselves a little bit. O-M-I-N. O-min. What's that? What's cooking? Oh, GM. GM. Good GM to you too. I'm all kinds of tuckered out. But it's that time of day to dance. So here we are. But yeah, it's Robin, it's kind of interesting to see the the bond market and so forth. Not first they kind of move up a little bit, acting like they're going to raise quarter. You can see the currencies do the same thing. We go back and take a look at the euro, and the euro out of nowhere, starts to break down, and it's like, what? Let's go back over to the euro real quick. And you can see here it went into the buy 3 days. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's pretty much sitting dead there, but we're in a weekly sell, and so it's like they're trying to lift this stuff. They're confused on where the inflation numbers are going to be in the sense of, are we stuck in the fives now at 5% inflation for the next? I hear a lot of good people, a lot of people I've trusted over the decades listening to them, and they said that we were going to come down into the 5 or 6 area and stop. This was 5 months ago and 4 months ago. They thought we would get down into the 5% area and stop. And the last 2 months now says that. And then you see the unemployment and you see the regional banks, and it's really one big confusing circle of just flat out, disbelief, I guess you could say, or lost in direction. And so the stock market itself is lifting because there's no other game in town. Would you believe this is how, when I say that there's no other game in town, let me just describe one of the things that I think about when I say that out loud. One of the reasons I say that is that, would you believe that, well, you have to believe it because it's a fact, Apple Computer its value is 2 times greater than all the stocks on the Frankfurt Exchange. I'm going to say that again because that's a fascinating statistic. Apple Computer, in its capitalized price, is greater than 2 times all the listed stocks on the Frankfurt Exchange. And I understand that it is equal to all the stocks listed on the London Exchange. So just Apple Computer in its capitalization is as equal to the London Stock Exchange, all the stocks listed there. Now that's just phenomenal. Now we have these powerhouses, Microsoft and Intel and Meta and Google and Amazon, and then you go into like Exxon Mobil, and you go into Chevron, and you can go through the 50 top stocks of the S&P 500, which equal about almost 70% of the S&P 500 value. So in other words, you have 450 stocks that are almost doing nothing. They're only 30% of the value, and those top 50 are almost 70% of the value of the index itself. And then you take the number one of the S&P 500, that's Apple Computer, and it has the value of twice the amount of stocks on the Frankfurt Exchange, and equal to all the stocks listed on the London Exchange. I think that's just astronomical concept. I think that's like, it would be interesting if the financial markets would actually pay attention to some of that stuff and let us know. It's just something that really, it's a very deep, okay. Okay. So, to me, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. But, to me, that is just astonishing. Okay, I'm answering a text. Let me answer this text. But he can't now because he's not running. To email or text. Let me just answer this. There we go. There we are. Okay, so from there, I guess we should jump over to the currencies again. But I that's what I mean when I say this is the only game in town. In other words, the only game on the planet, because there's no when you are a money manager and you're managing billions and billions of dollars, you need to put them in liquid positions. Hence, a good example is why do the Chinese keep on telling us how much they hate us, the Americans, and how much they want to take over the world, and they're going to try to take over the position. Well, they have almost $1 trillion in U.S. bonds, but they refuse to remove them. You ever think about that? Imagine if you told somebody you hated them and you want them to die, and then they say, "But can you lend me $1 million?" And they say, "Sure." And it's like, wait a minute. I have $1 million. He'll give me $1 million, but I want to kill him at the same time. I want to destroy him. I want to make him irrelevant. So none of it makes any sense to me. In other words, that doesn't make any sense. So in other words, that's the proof that we are the only place on the planet that money managers are willing to put their equity into. That makes it the only game in town. See the logic to that? That's the logic to it all. Is that is a that's the whole logic of it all. So it's very confusing. When like money managers, they talk about the idea that we'll drift more into the equities for a second just to prove the point of we're the only game in town, and that's why the pairs trades act the way they do. So in other words, when you're trying to say, well, why are we talking about equities and bonds? Well, they're analogous, or they're equal to, in many ways, currencies. They're a tool, the same type of tool, and so the currency pairs move in relationship to the interest rates and the inflation. Even as we've talked about here, the fundamentals have really, really dissipated. So that's the I guess you could say that is the odd, that is the whole odd thing about it all. So now, I fast forward, we go back to the pairs trade conversation, and that is the markets have been acting, the pairs trades themselves have been acting like they think they're raising rates, they're pricing in that they're not raising rates, or they think that the inflation is going to stay here at 5%. Maybe that's more the pillar of it all, because that's what I believe is going to happen. Is we're going to stay in the 5% inflation area now. We'll in January. Let's see where we're at now. We're in June, right? So we're in June. So we have 6 more months. But the government here in the States does a declaration of inflation for the year somewhere in the middle of December, or December 28th or something. No. I think it's a little bit earlier than that. It might be like December 12th or something like that. I think there's a certain stat. I guess what it is when the Federal Reserve releases its inflation numbers, and it's like in the middle of the month, that's the official inflation, or it's the last of November. I think that's what it is. And so that's where it all plays out. And that's where it all plays out. So yeah. Let me think. What else can we say? I guess we go from there. Let's go take a look at the euro. Let's just take a look at it. No one's jumping in at the moment. So let me just double check the chat line. Oh, there we go. Now we got people jumping in. I see Mountain there. Yo, Mountain. Novak Djokovic made tennis history yesterday by winning the 23rd Grand Slam trophy at the French Open. He has won more Grand Slams than anyone in history. Yeah, I'll tell you. I tried to get a hold of Polina. Polina did see me say something. I saw that. Polina's a big fan of his. She works for Dukascopy. Serena Williams has 23 also. Those girls were fantastic. They still are. They're very powerful. Metho. So yeah, I mean it was now I guess the British Open is what, about 3 weeks from now, maybe something like that. 3 or 4 weeks from now it starts. It'll be interesting. All right. From there, we take a look at the euro. Let's put it up on J4X. There it is right there. They're talking about the stats on Trump right now. He's almost 60%. It's a big monster number. Okay, so there's the euro up on J4X. Let's put it up. We have it up on Chicago Quant. Remember, traders, if you want to see something, let me know. Yeah, 3 weeks from now. That sounds about right. That should be good. Also, strings is, I guess, in the middle of it. So for the week of strings string theory conferences the 24th to the 20. So it's going to be, I guess, maybe, yeah, it'll be towards the end of it. Let me see. When is strings? My number one sport is string theory, I guess you could say, in many ways. It's always interesting to see, how they play it out in the end. Trying to understand physical reality. And the math I use on my charts is based off of that concept to begin with. So it makes I'm all set for strings. I can't wait. And so that's going to be the week of the 24th, I think it is. Let me just see. 2 years ago, 24th to that week of the 24th. 2 years ago, I outed the smartest mathematician in the world. That was very entertaining. I enjoyed that. That made me, I can't say enough about that. That was so cool. Yen is starting to gain strength as seen in the yen pairs. Well, at least in hour one. Let's take a look. Looky yen. Let's see, where did I go for that? Right there. We have the euro in there right now on the hourly. Right there. Good. Right there. The hourly is breaking down. It's trying to get into a sell on that. Now let's make a copy of that. Copy. And let's put the yen in there. Dollar yen. Are we talking dollar yen? We can do dollar yen. Let's see. Yen. I imagine you're talking dollar yen. But we've looked at a couple of yens for you. I think we did GBP yen too. All right, let's get dollar yen in there. I really dislike that 4-hour one. Ugh. I really do. It's really behind the curve. It's bad enough I don't like minutes and hours to begin with, but the 4-hour one, it sometimes is just like lagging by so much. You miss so much action. Let's see, yen. So it'll be USD. There it is. There we go. Now it's loading up. Let me shrink it down time-wise. Don't matter now. Let's just do this. Let's shrink it down anyway. Make it 9. There we go. Yeah, it's in a sell now from here, off of this big little slide back 4 hours ago. It's been in a sell. Right there. Went into the buy on Friday? I think it's Friday. Is that Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. No. What is that? That's last night. Okay. Did it go into the sell? It went into the sell and then jumped back into the buy. So this, we can go like, let's move this over. So this went into the sell there, and we move this one over to here, and it jumped back into the buy there. And now it's back into the sell again. Right here. Let's see, what did you say about it? You said yen is starting to gain strength as seen on the yen's pair well in the 1 hour. No, I don't see the strength yet. I mean, I saw this. Yes, that did pop up, but it's not putting it into a buy. Look at that tail on it. It's almost like a hangman. Matter of fact, that's think about that. It's like a hangman, Let's widen that out for you. If that was smaller like that, and there's a second hangman right there, but this one was a positive through the zero line. No, I wouldn't touch that. Nope. Let's take a look at the daily weekly, see where it's at in there. We can jump around as far as I'm concerned. There is the daily weekly. And as you can see there, it's been in a daily sell for 3 days. It has been in a long weekly buy since the 134 area. And, it got up to the 140s. And now it's trying to flirt its way a little bit down. You can see that right there. You see the fast is through the zero line. You can see the slow is not. And the sell was on Thursday. That's Thursday, Friday, Monday. Let's see, referring to GBP mainly. Oh, okay, let's check that out. Let's go to that one. There we are. Oh, no, I did the wrong thing. Oh, no. Let me fix that. All right there. And then GBP, there it is in the hourly. There we go. There you go, right there. Now it went into the sell. Did that go into the sell there? It did. So it went into the sell here, and it's breaking down totally. And what did you say? It's going up? Let me see. Yes, it's starting to gain strength. Yeah, the daily is trying to roll over. Yeah, I don't see the strength on the GBP JPY at all. It's even worse than the dollar one. Look at that. Or is that a gain? So who's losing money there? I guess the yen is making money. You're right. So this is making money. Is that right? No, or the cable's making money. The cable? No. How? Let me think. When we look at it on a dollar side, the dollar is. Let's go back to that. Now I'm confused altogether. Let's go back to the daily. So when this is the dollar yen, so it's been sideways. So when it goes up, the dollar is gaining against it. Okay, yes. So it's very bullish on the GBP JPY. I agree. Let's see, where's it at? Right here. But it's been that way for hours. Let me go back to it again right there. There we are. Cool. All right, and so you can see here, it has been gaining strength against the GBP enormously for like the last since 5 hours ago. Went into this and it's taking off. And I guess if we make a copy of this and then we go and do the reverse of it, and we take a look at the dollar side of it, it's kind of it's trying. It tried to do something. Let's put it up there again. There we are. Yeah, so when the dollar was yes, the dollar was. Oh, I see. Yes, you're right. You're right. So what's happening is, as it's going down, right. You're right. It's gaining strength. It's now where it started from, and you're right. It's rolling over. Yep, you're right. Because that's what that sell means. I don't know why I thought it was the other way around. So right, and I guess it's got to take out this low here 3 hours ago. So it went into the sell here, and it's been kind of sideways, up and down equally. And right now it's still doing that stuff. So you're right, Mountain. You're right. That means that yen is gaining. Yeah, exactly. Yen dollar starting to roll over. Yeah, that's what the daily weekly is showing us. The daily and weekly, you see there, it's trying to roll over now. You can see the daily's been in the sell for 3 days. See, it's been in the sell since here. It hasn't done too good a job yet, but it's trying. And the weekly now is trying to join in with the fast breaking the zero line and the slow starting to curve down. I would go with the dead cat bounce. That's all it is. they're probably just adjusting from the move up. In other words, this is profit taking for the long side. The ones that have been long dollars, short yen, are probably taking a little profits in here. But notice it hasn't taken out. Well, first of all, as much as it's in a daily sell from here, it's only gone up more than it wants to go down. So you can't take the short to begin with. Why, traders? We always do this quick test. It's because it's in a weekly buy. So it's a neutral position. So if anything, you've been long since it went into the buy here, or the short there, or the long here. You got to get, you don't want to, if you haven't taken your profit, you haven't, benefited from it, you don't want to be long it yet. You can be neutral at this point. And that's where it's at. Right, Mountain, you're right. You are right. Okay, cool. Now, what's interesting is the way the cable's been going. Let's put the cable up there. And there's the cable. And the cable's been rising against the dollar overall. It's been very firm. It's trying to flirt with the weekly buy as we speak right now. It's been in a daily buy for since Friday. Or was that Thursday? Since Thursday on the 8th. We've been in a buy, and it has gone up. So this thing is trying to lift up, and it's trying now to get into the buy again. And so when we go over and look at, bing, 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 we go look at the GBP, JPY, what a great trade that is compared, In other words, it says, okay, be short, and sure enough, it is. We're in the daily sell, and now the weekly sell is flirting, weekly buy is flirting away. And I guess, let's go back to that. Is it in a daily buy? Yeah, it's in a daily buy. So, it's definitely, it's an interesting trade. Yeah, that's it. That's the dead cat bounce, profit taking. Just a temporary pullback. I agree on the dollar yen. But what's interesting is if I had to trade, in many ways, I think that if I was thinking of trading either one of them, I think I would go with GBP, JPY. We had somebody in here years ago that used to follow that, and that's why we always had the chart up on it and so forth, because it was a good trading tool. There's no doubt about it. It is a good trading tool. Very good pairs trade. Probably because their economies are relatively the same size. I think that when you look at the dollar index is let me think. The dollar index is wow. Yeah, so let me think. The Japanese economy is probably, individually like the second largest economy in the world. But when you look at the European Union, that is the second biggest economy in the world. So in the index, when you look at the dollar index, the euro is like I guess it's like 52 or 53% of the index. And then the yen is something like 15% of the index, or 18%, something like that. And then the British pound is like 12. So the pound and the yen are not far off when it comes to representation and economy. And so if you look at German economy, not the European Union economy, that's probably like number 4 or something like that. Britain, I think, is number 3. I think what's it called? Japan is number 2, and I'm not even sure where China is on that. It's way down the list because it only trades 3% of its 2.5% of its stock trades every day. That's it. So, when you look at that, that's how I kind of measure that. And matter of fact, I think I was mentioning it in the webinar here. I saw a stat that showed that the amount of buying for America did in China last year is what their gain was for the year. That's it. In other words, if it wasn't for America, they wouldn't have any growth at all, any GDP. So it really, these numbers, I always pay attention to those numbers. I don't listen to politicians and their yakety yak stuff. I just kind of, especially now the Federal Reserve. Oh my God, the poor Federal Reserve has totally lost its mind. It's totally oblivious. Totally oblivious. And there's not much you can say about it really in the end result. As I said in the beginning, we provide enormous benefit to them, and they hate us. So it's like, oh, I guess then don't give them anything or something like that, or get away from them. They're dangerous in their own natural way. So anyhow, that is what it is, and it doesn't seem like anything is changing out of it all. So, where am I at here? Okay, so from the GBP, and we looked at euro, and we looked at yen. Let's go over to the Swiss and see what's going on in the Swiss. Let's check that out. Right there, there's the Swiss. You see Swiss is trying to lift up again. It's doing the same thing. They're all doing this stuff. And I would imagine until we get past this point of the next rate increase from the Federal Reserve, we're going to be trading like this, real choppy and no clear direction. I think that's what it really comes down to. So now at this point, you can see here we're in a sell and it's up. It's firm. But we're in a weekly buy, so you would never take the short to begin with, so it doesn't really matter. It just shows you it again. It's just like like I said before, it's a dead cat bounce. That's what it is. And if anybody wants to know what a dead cat bounce is, just say, what is it? That's all you have to say is, what is it? What? Or anything. And I'll explain it. Because I do explain that every so often. For some new people that are like, what is a dead cat bounce? It's got nothing to do with the Copenhagen conjecture. So, but in some ways, it does have something to do with the Copenhagen conjecture. It's up, like I said, I'm getting, Mountain's talking about the tennis matches. I'm getting ready to start talking about strings. We're going to get into M theory. We're ready to go right to M theory, string theory. Yeah. All right. Anyhow, so from there, we go over to little ruble. I guess now we go over to little ruble. That is the euro against the Turkish lira. It really seems lethargic today. Look at that. I mean, they don't seem to be able to. It's like it's not wicking up, or no one wants to play. I'm not sure. Look at it's playing with the sell, but then again, look at the weeklies. The weeklies are like, woo! It's like rocket shot. There's little ruble. And when we say little ruble, we're figuring it's going to go to 31 because of all that. Let's see. Euro CAD starting to turn up after long period of CAD strength. Euro CAD. Let's check that out. Let's see what it looks like on a daily weekly first, and then we can go to the hourly. Are you talking about an hourly or daily? Let's see. Right there. Euro. What's that? Euro CAD. Just double checking. Yes, Euro CAD. Okay, so let's see if we can find that. There's dollar CAD. Let's see. Euro GBP. Euro Zloty. Euro Yen. And Euro. Well, let's go over to Euro CAD. No, that's GBP yen. Let's see, where's that? Let's do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna add another euro. Let's add another euro. So we're gonna go like oh, and it doesn't have dots. Something that has dots, so I don't have to do any adjusting. Let's see. We could do this. That's one. So we'll copy that, and then we'll paste it. I love looking at new products. I don't want to see the 4 hour. It's so scary, ugly. Okay, but I'm going to put it in here first, and then we'll go over and take a look at it in the 1 hour. And then if you really want to see it in the 4, I'll show it to you. But it's so ugly. Instrument. Isn't that interesting? We don't have the EuroCAD. Okay, so let's add it. We've never looked at that. That's kind of interesting. There we go. Now there's the Euro CAD. Wow, interesting. So it's been in the weekly sell since up in here. Let's see if we can find. We don't have any lines for it, so let's put some lines in. Right there. So it's been in the weekly sell since up in here. Where's that? There's a. Wow, this is really rock and roll, isn't it? And it goes into the buy there. Goes back into the sell there. Goes back into a buy there. Goes back into a sell there. Goes back into a buy there. Next day it goes into a sell. And then the next day from there, let's see, we can move this over one or two. One. Take that one, move that over to there. And then, oop. There we go. Then it gets into a sell again here. And it's been in a sell up until, what's that? Friday. Went into a buy on Friday. So let's steal this. Which buy should I steal? I'm going to steal this buy. Right there. So it goes into the buy there. And then, let's see, what else can we say about that? There we are. So there's your action right there. And the what is this? The Euro CAD. Interesting. Let's see what you said about that. So Euro CAD. Oh, and let's go check out the hourly. There is the hourly. Right there. As it loads up. This will be interesting to see. There you go. So it goes into the buy right there. That sell started off right there. And then it gets back and forth, doesn't it? Goes into a sell there. Goes back into a buy right afterwards, the next hour. And that's where it's at now. It's in the buy. There we go. And we can do this too. We can save that. Save workspace like that. And then let's put the 4 hour in just to see if it'll give us a general idea of the flavor of it right now. So in the hourly, it's in a buy. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. There we go. Yeah, so, okay. 4 hourly, it's in a buy for 8 hours now since this big move. I guess I can go add a few more days to it. Let's do that. There we are. So it went into the sell right here. And then it went into the buy right there. Okay, that's better. And then the last buy was right here. And let's move that out of the way. That sells right. I guess we have to add more hours to be able to tell if that's real back there. That's what we have to do. I'm going to move all these over. But there's your flavor right there. Went into the buy there, went into the sell there, it's back into the buy here. How's that, Mountain? On your 4 hour thing. that thing. Wild thing. Wild thing. Wild thing. Okay. And there it is. And there it goes. Okay. All right. All right. From there, all right. Where do we go from here? Um, I guess. Let's see. What's that? That we were at the little the little little ruble. So from there we go to, let's go to the bricks now. How far did you get on your clay court? Like I said, I'll probably start collecting clay up over the next 6 months. I fantasized about it. That's how far I got. I don't have any time right now. This is a farming season. I'm not going to go fool around with a clay court now. But I've been wanting to do that, and this last time around, I think I'm going to try doing it. I think I have to build. I think we were describing the math, and it made me think how much time it'll take. So I'm going to have to. It's probably going to take me about 5 or 6 months to dig up enough clay, build it in a pile, protect it, and then I'll try making a court out of it. That's what I figure. Okay, now from there, where do we go from there? Oh, that's right. We go over to the what we would call the leading brick. It's the M brick. That's what it is. There isn't brick. It's they got to respell that thing, because it's going to be really hard to even have the Brazilian real even in the index to begin with. It won't. It'll just sit there. There will be no prices on it. It'll be zero. So that'll be really weird. Okay, let's go over to the Mexican peso right there. This is the powerhouse inside the brick concept. This is the euro of the brick. That's what it is. This is the euro of the brick. All right, now from there, what else can we say about any of that? We'll get there in a sec. Let's see, we go like this. We go like that. Okay. So, what else can we say about that? It's been in that long weekly sell. It doesn't want to let go. It went into the fast weekly sell up in here, slow one right there. It's only seen downside pressure. It's gaining. When this goes down, the dollar is losing against it. So that's what that's all about. And so we just kind of, watch and see. But this is the powerhouse of the bricks. So the bricks, obviously, in our world, not in the fantasy world of China, the brick is pretty firm against the dollar, since this is going to be a major part of the. And you know what? When we go and look at the second most strongest of the bricks, the we'll start off with the South African rand. Look at that. The rand is gaining against it too. So between the Mexican peso and the South African rand, they're going to be the powerhouses of the BRIC. That could be over 70% of the index itself. If you had a BRIC index, this would be 70% of it. Just looking at these two currencies. So wherever the rest of them are doesn't mean too much when this is 70% of the index. You would have to assume that the other one is the third one would be the Indian rupee. We'll have to, we may have to start finding the Indian rupee and put that up on the screen too. We'll start, and then we would have almost 80% of the BRIC itself, the M BRIC. Is the rupee in there? I see. What is it? BRIC. Brazil, Russia. It should be two R's, I guess. Brazil, Russia, ruble, or BRIC. Let's see. Oh no, I is India, right? That's what it is. So Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So, yeah, we're going to have to put the rupee in there, the Indian currency, because that way we'll see 80% of what the BRIC is doing. Right there, just those three will give us a great insight. All right. So from there, let's see. Oh, Mountain says, I am making oatmeal porridge for banana topping with Doc eats in his yogurt. Oh no, I don't eat yogurt. I mean, I will if I've given a shot at it, but I'm paleo. I'm kind of a cross between paleo and what do you call it? Keto. So to me, I'm always eating like protein and vegetables. So in other words, meats and vegetables. Lots of meats and vegetables, and the dairy side you're thinking of is the fats like cheese and yogurt and so forth. So it's just like a slice. It's a third of my diet. But I dig it. Sounds good to me. Yeah, yogurt's fine. I'm much more a protein person because I like to feed the muscles. I use the muscles. I got to feed the muscles. All right, now from there's South African rand. So from there, we'll go over and take a look at gold. Let's see what gold is doing. Let's put gold up on J4X. Okay. Now, we'll go to, there it is. You can see gold trying to lift up. And you can see, what is this? The South African rand going down. It's having a fantastic move. It's going from 20 down to 18.5. It's starting to get into where it should be. It should be trading in the 14s. So this is very interesting to see the way it's dropping. Maybe they've resolved the political problem down there. We just haven't seen it. I don't know. I would hope so. Maybe this is because the political problem sent this thing through the roof. So maybe this will straighten it out. Now let's go look at it over here. And there it is right there. There's gold. And you can see gold is just kind of sitting dead. It's in a daily buy for 3 days, but not going anywhere. And it's been in a weekly sell now. This is starting the 6th week. So we're not really seeing anything too positive, I guess you could say, one way or the other about gold. It's just trapped in a weekly sell and a daily buy. So there's not much more than that we can, really care about at this point. Now let's go over to silver. Since we're in the metals complex and it's getting late, there's silver. Silver is flirting with the weekly buy as we speak. And so there, that is right there. So at least silver is trying to lift its head up. It's also been in a daily buy for like 3 days now. And then we go from there. What do? We go from there. We'll go to the Canadian, and we'll go look at oil. So there's oil, and oil is moving down. And so Canadian should be going up. So let's take a look at the Canadian there. So dollar CAD, which was hitting the bottom end of that triangle on Friday, not really moving up, which is kind of curious in its own right. Now let's put it up over here on J4X. Right there. You can see the pressure on that. And that's where it's at. That's exactly where it's at. And so from there, nothing else to be said. You know, it's been that kind of steady action. But one thing is definitely for sure, and that is the South African rand seems to be moving back into the right direction. It should be in the 14s at this point where gold is. And comparing one to the other, ever since that political explosion they had 6 months ago, it has shaken the South African rand. So that's where we stand. All right. Now from there, we go to where do we go from there? Ooh. Oh God. Okay. Someone I just got a message saying that the Einstein-Podolsky-Rosen paradox has been tested again. Most massive test ever for it. How about that? All right. That's spooky numbers at a distance. That's quantum tunneling, basically. Breaking the speed of light. Cool. Oh, we got to post that. We'll find a way of posting that. All right. So from there, interesting. It doesn't want to be posted. Let's see if I go like that. No. All right, just make a copy of it, and I'll post it that way. All right. From the metal, from that we go over to the energies, and we'll take a look at the back month. And there, let's see, where's the back month? Let's take a look at back month. I think they're trading at parity at this point. So there's July crude trading at 67.96. That's the front month, and the back month is trading at 68. So it's got a premium. So there's a delivery thing. That's what we've talked about. It seems like there's a delivery thing going on with the whole process at this point. You know, I've been saying that for about a week now. The way that the premium collapsed, because this contract here, the front month contract, expires at the end of this week, I believe. So that's going to be a lot of pressure on it, and I guess people don't want to take physical delivery, so they're selling it down. And then you can see the back months are holding on. And that seems to be the whole action of it all. Oh, we got to post that. How about that? I want to read that article. Me want to read that. There we go. I got to post it this way I don't lose it. All right, now let's see if there's any more questions besides the last one. Oh, okay. We're an astrophysicist, Doc. Are you a mathematician like James Simon? Yes, I am somewhat like that. He's a main competitor, yes. Or an astrophysicist? No, astrophysicists are totally lost. I did some good work in astrophysics, but it's out of the mainstream. I used to do what they call thrunch on Thursdays at Princeton University, and it would have some people from the IAS, the Institute of Advanced Study, and then Princeton people, and then people would come in from, say, MIT or stuff like that. You know, come from some good schools, and the astro cosmology side is really upside down right now when it comes to mainstream science. So astrophysics is really, mainstream astrophysics is really confused. They have no direction. They do a lot of simulations and computer runs, but when it comes to actual facts, I mean, you got the Hubble and the James Webb have basically proven mainstream astrophysics dysfunctional. So we'll just leave it at that. Benny, before we leave, we're going to throw your thing up there. Let's put that thing you want to see. That thing you do. There it is. Benny and the Jets. Dent, dent. Look at that. We're in that daily sell. I guess what we did is we went into the buy on Friday. Now we're back into the sell again, and we're still in the weekly sell for going on a third week, so you can't take that buy. So the win was there. It's been a nice trade. Told you to take a profit. Now it's trying to put you in the sell again. So there you go, like that. That's wild, 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 wild. Wild, 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 wild. Anyhow, that's it, folks. So, this is Doc from North America saying, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Arrivederci. Catch you tomorrow.